Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Gems of Knowledge. So I am here with another video on the exercise questions of matter in our surrounding, that is which is present on the page number 12. Okay, so before starting my video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also press the bell button to get the notification as soon as I post my new videos. So without wasting our time, let's quickly move on to the question answer section. So here the first question is given. Convert the following temperatures into Celsius scale. So here few questions have been given which is already present in the Kelvin scale, but you have to convert it into the Celsius scale. So here the first one is 293 Kelvin and the second one is 470 Kelvin. So let us quickly have the solution for this. So for the first one, 293 Kelvin, how can you convert this 293 Kelvin into Celsius scale? Okay, so the formula will be given here. So basically this is the formula, that is equals to 273 plus C. So this is basically the formula where you can convert either from Celsius to Kelvin or from Kelvin to Celsius. Okay, so you can see there is given, they have given here 273. If you move this 273 to this side, on the left side, what you are going to get is K minus 273, which is equals to C. So what is K minus 273? Why they have taken minus 273? Because 273 here in the right side it was positive. When you move that 273 to the left side, you will get it as to be negative. Okay, so K minus 273 will be equal to C. So the value of K has been given already. Substitute the value. K is nothing but 293 minus 273 will be equals to C. Okay, so after subtracting this, what you are going to get the answer is 20. So C is equals to 20 degrees. Okay, so similarly we will try to solve the second one, B1, which is 470 Kelvin here. So the same formula you have to continue, that is K is equals to 273 plus C. So let us substitute the K value. Okay, so when you move that 273 to the left side, you will get K minus 273 will be equals to C. And when you substitute the K value, that is 470 minus 273, you are going to get the answer to C, which is nothing but 197 degree. Okay, so C is equals to 197 degree. So that's all. This is the solution for your first one answer. Okay, so let's move on to the second one. Okay, so the second question is given, convert the following temperature into Kelvin scale. So before we have studied about the how to convert the temperature from Kelvin to Celsius scale. Now we are going to study how to convert the temperature to Kelvin scale from Celsius scale, from Celsius to Kelvin scale. Okay, so here the first question is given as 25 degrees Celsius and second one question is given as 373 degrees Celsius. Okay, so solution, let's see for the first one, that is 25 degree. So the same thing you have to write, that is C plus 273 is equals to K, the same formula. There I have taken K is equals to 273 plus C. Here only the sides I have changed from left to right. It is one and the same. Do not get confused with this. If you write K is equals to 273 plus C, then also it is correct. And if you write C plus 273 is equals to K, then also the formula is correct. Okay, so basically the formula is same, only the sides have been interchanged. Okay, so let us substitute the value of C here. C is nothing but 25 degree plus 273, which is equals to K. Now if you add 25 to 273, you are going to get 298 Kelvin. Okay, similarly the B1, that is 373 degrees Celsius. So C plus 273 is equals to K. Okay, let us substitute 373 degree plus 273 is equals to K, and if you add this two, you are going to get 646 Kelvin. Okay, so this is the solution for the second one. Next, moving to the third one, give reasons. Okay, now few questions will be taken here and you have to give reason for the following. Okay, so the question here is first one in that naphthalene balls disappear with time without leaving any solid. So you know what are naphthalene balls? Okay, so it will disappear with time without leaving anything solid. Okay, how this naphthalene balls will get disappeared without coming into the liquid state? Actually they are solid, and without coming into the liquid state they are just disappearing. How is that possible? We have to tell the answer. Okay, so here according to the solution, it is because naphthalene is a substance which directly changes its state from solid to gas on heating by the process of sublimation. So this naphthalene balls actually undergoes a process which is called as sublimation, where this naphthalene balls are directly converted from solid state to liquid state without coming the material into the liquid state. Okay, cleared? Next, coming to the second question, we can get the smell of perfume sitting several meters away. So yes, obviously we can get the perfume smell if we are sitting several meters away too. Okay, so why is this? We have to give the reason. So according to the solution, it is because gaseous have the fastest diffusion rate than the solid and liquid. You all know that gaseous, into the gaseous, particles are randomly moving, whereas in solid state there is no movement of the particles, and in liquid state there is a little movement of particles, whereas in gaseous state the particles are actually in random motion. Okay, so we can say that we can get the smell of perfume sitting several meters away. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth question. Arrange the following substances in increasing order of force of attraction between the particles. So we have to arrange these three particles, that is water, sugar and oxygen, according to the increasing order of their forces of attraction between particles. We all know that all the particles in the world is having some or the other force of attraction. Okay, either they are having minimum force of attraction, either they are having moderate, or they are having high force of attraction. So according to that, we have to classify these three things, how they are having the forces of attraction into their increasing order. Okay, so you can see here according to the solution, the force of attraction are strongest in solid. We know that there are into the solid, always we know that the particles are stick to each other. There is no space to move. So we can say that the force of attraction is actually the strongest and weak in the case of gaseous. As in the gaseous particles, the particles are randomly moving. So we can say that the forces of attraction there are totally weakest. Okay. So according to this, we have to classify the three things, water, sugar and oxygen, into their increasing orders. Okay, so you can see sugar is a solid. Okay, we know that sugar is already a solid, water is nothing but liquid, and oxygen is nothing but gas. So according to this, we can classify as, so the order of force of attraction is, first it will be oxygen, which is having less force of attraction. So increasing order in the sense it should be in ascending order, means lowest will come first and then finally the maximum quantity will come. Okay, so oxygen is a gas, it is having very low force of attraction between its particle. Okay, then comes water. Water is a liquid which is having moderate, a middle kind of, we can say, force of attraction. Okay, then comes sugar, which is a solid which is having the highest force of attraction. Okay, so I hope this question is cleared. We'll move to the next question. Fifth one, what is the physical state of water at? So we have to tell the physical state of water at the given quantities. Okay, so A1 they have given 25 degrees Celsius, B1 they have given 0 degrees Celsius, and C1 at 100 degrees Celsius. To at this temperature, we have to tell what is the physical state of water. So whether the water is solid, liquid or gas, we have to identify it. Okay. So let's see the solution. At 25 degrees Celsius, water is nothing but at liquid state. So you all know, you all carry water to your schools. Okay. So actually it will be in the liquid state because it is at the room temperature, and the room temperature will be nearer to this value only. Okay. So you can say at that particular temperature your water is in liquid state. Okay. Then B1, at 0 degrees Celsius, the water will start converting to solid state. So 0 degrees Celsius without temperature, that is at the point of 0 degrees Celsius. So this is the point where the water slowly will convert into the solid state. Okay. So actually you can write it as into liquid state also, and you can write it as solid state also, because this is a transition state between solid as well as liquid. Okay. So you can mention this into solid state also as well as liquid state also. Next comes 100 degrees Celsius. So at 100 degrees Celsius, the water will start to convert into gaseous state. So here also from liquid state to the water will be converting into the gaseous state. Here also the transition temperature will takes place. So you can write it as at 100 degrees Celsius, the water will be either in the liquid state or in the gaseous state. Both the answers will be correct. Okay. So quickly let's move on to the sixth question. So give 2 reasons to justify. So here few questions will be asked and we have to give 2 reasons to justify our answer. Okay. So the first question here is, water at room temperature is liquid. So the question here is, water at the room temperature will be always liquid. So we have to give 2 reasons to justify our answer to this. Okay. So okay, one more question is asked here. An iron almirah is a solid at room temperature. So basically 2 questions are asked here. One is, water at room temperature will be liquid, and one more is, an iron almirah is a solid at room temperature. So let's see the answers. So see, because water will be liquid at room temperature, because the first reason is it has a tendency to flow. Yes, obviously the water is having a tendency of flowing. It is fluid, it will obviously flow. Okay. So second one is, it takes the shape of the container in which it is filled, but its volume remains the same. So we all know that water will be taking the shape of the container. Not only water, all the liquids will take the shape of the container, but its volume will remain the same. We cannot change the volume, but the shape of container can be changed, but the volume will not change. Okay. So these are the 2 reasons why the water at room temperature will be always liquid. Okay. Coming to the B1, an iron almirah is a solid at room temperature. So why the iron almirah will be solid at the room temperature? So according to the solution, because it has definite shape and volume, because iron is nothing but a solid substance and it has a definite shape as well as a definite volume. And the second one reason is, it has very high density. Density is nothing but, I hope you people remember, density is nothing but mass by volume. Okay. So when we divide mass by volume of that particular substance, what we get is the value of density. Okay. Next, 7th question, why is ice at 273 Kelvin more effective in cooling than water at the same temperature? So we have to tell that why ice, which is present at 273 Kelvin, this is not in Celsius, they have given us into Kelvin, it is more effective in cooling. Okay, it will be more effective in cooling than the water at the same temperature. So there is a difference there, ice at 273 degree and water at 273 Kelvin. Okay, not degree, sorry, it is Kelvin. Okay. So according to the solution, ice at 273 Kelvin has less energy than water. Okay. So ice at 273 Kelvin, it is not having any energy. It is having less energy compared to that of water. Okay, then so while melting, ice absorb the latent heat from the surroundings. So when the ice is going to melt, what it does, it will absorb all the latent heat which is present into the surrounding and get converted into water, which makes the cooling effect more intense as compared to the water at the same temperature. So due to this latent heat which is absorbed by the ice from the surrounding to get converted into water, what it does, it makes the cooling effect, okay, rather than the water. Okay, so next, going to the 8th question, what produces more severe burns? Okay, the question is asked, what produces us more severe burns? Either it is a boiling water or steam. Okay, which one can produce a more severe burns? So the solution here is steam causes more severe burns than boiling water. Steam is the thing which causes more severe burns than boiling water. Okay, so why is that? Because it releases the extra amount of heat which is already taken during vaporization. So steam, what it does is, it will release all the extra amount of heat, whatever the extra amount of heat was taken during the process of vaporization. Vaporization is nothing but conversion of liquid state into vapor state, gaseous state. When liquid is converting its liquid state to the gaseous state, that process is called as vaporization. Okay, and to continue with this process of vaporization, whatever heat has been taken by the steam, it is releasing it. Okay, so that process is called as vaporization. So we can say that steam will produce more severe burns, okay, than the boiling water. So last question, moving to the last question here, that is 9th one. So name A, B, C, D, E and F in the following diagram showing change in its state. So here a following diagram will be given and we have to identify A, B, C, D, E and F which is present into the diagram. Okay, so here it is, you can see the diagram here. Okay, here they have given solid is changed into liquid and that is named as A. So here into the diagram you can see solid is converted to liquid and on the top of that you can see here it is given as A. So we have to identify what is this A. Similarly, from liquid to gas it is given as B, then gas to liquid is given as C, and liquid to solid is given as D, whereas E and F are nothing but solid to gas and gas to solid are E and F. Okay, so we have to identify what is this A, B, C, D, E and F into this diagram. Okay, so according to solution we can see here A is nothing but solid to liquid. Okay, when solid is changing its state to liquid, it means either it is melting or here the process of fusion is taking place. Okay, either it is melting or it is called as fusion. Okay, next B1. B is nothing but it is changing from liquid to gas. Liquid to gas. Liquid is changed into gas. It means vaporization is taking place or we can say evaporation is taking place. Okay, either this or that. Then C1. C1 is changing from gas to liquid. Gas is being changed into liquid. It is nothing but called as condensation. Okay. Then D1. D1 is from liquid to solid. Okay. So from liquid to solid. How can we convert liquid to solid? By freezing that liquid, we can make it into ice. Or we can say solidification. This is nothing but process called solidification, or else in simple language we can say it as freezing also. Okay. Then remaining is E1. Okay, E is nothing but solid is changed to gas. Okay, when solid is directly changed to gas without coming into the liquid state, it is called as sublimation. Similarly, when gas is converted to solid without coming to liquid state, it is also known as sublimation. Okay, so that's all for today. The exercise part has been completed here. So I hope you all have understood with this video. If you are having any doubts regarding this, you can comment me down. I'll surely help you out. And please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back soon with another video. So till then, stay tuned and stay connected. Thank you.